Hello, and welcome to Comics with Friends, the bi-weekly podcast where two best buds get together, read a comic, talk about what they loved about the comic, maybe what they didn't like so much about it, and maybe along the way, tell a few jokes. Just a few. Today, we are talking about a comic that is very near and dear to my heart, Batman versus Predator by Dave Gibbons, I believe. Yes, Dave Gibbons, and drawn by Andy Kubert, the best comic book artist of the 90s, in my opinion. I will not be taking any questions. I am your host, Ethan, joined today by my best bud and co-host, Mason.
Hello.
And we'll just get right into it.
Yeah.
What's up?
I mean, talk about a curveball entry and things that we're going to be reading.
Yeah, no. A lot of people don't know that this comic even exists.
I mean, I am going to take the honor of being responsible for this happening, because of my interest in the Predator versus Dread.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, what about Batman versus Predator? And I was like, I haven't read that. So
Yeah, this story is fucking awesome. Obviously, it is a crossover from two publishers. DC, obviously, they own Batman. Mm-hmm. And Dark Horse, who at the time owned both Predator and Alien. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Disney now owns both of those. So, that's sad.
take that information how you will.
Yeah. I mean, some of the Alien stuff they've come out with is interesting recently, but it's like a bunch of anthology stories.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, we're already going off on tangents, but that's fine because these are shorter reads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These episodes are going to be a little bit shorter.
But yeah. So the last Alien movie that I was finding interesting was actually Prometheus.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Because a lot of people don't
like
like
A lot of people don't like it, but I thought it was super interesting because I'm a huge fan of world building.
Yeah.
So and also I'm not a super, I like Alien and Aliens,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not a diehard, I know all the lore and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought Prometheus was interesting. It was different and stuff like that. Covenant, I was entertained, but I also wasn't walking away from it it was good.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. There was an alien, proto-alien.
I never watched Covenant.
It was okay. It was lukewarm.
My two favorite Alien movies are the first two, and then I love the Alien Isolation video game, which to me is Alien 3.
Did you ever play the Alien versus Predator game?
I did not. I really wanted to, because I believe at that time Hollywood Video was still a thing, or Blockbuster, if anybody knows those two. That was before they went under, and I would always see that game in the
backwards compatible on Xbox. So
yeah.
I have it. I play it once in a while.
Yeah.
I actually, for those who have played it and those who don't or haven't, there's 3 campaigns for it. Mm-hmm. You have Human, Alien, and Predator.
Yeah.
As much fun as it was playing Alien or Predator, I actually really liked the Human one because it was very horror.
Yeah.
Obviously, in hindsight now, it's not that great.
Yeah.
But at the time, as a kid, when I was playing it, I was like, this is fantastic. They had a whole flare system and and stuff like that. It was really cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, I love me some Predator. I love me some Alien.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I watched the original Predator when I was young and fucking loved it. I'm a huge early, 80s Arnold Schwarzenegger fan.
The action movie hero, yeah.
I have just, I mean, it's not obviously necessarily relevant to what we're going to be covering, but Arnold Schwarzenegger's Commando movie.
Yeah.
I distinct memory of going to my grandma's on my dad's side, and they had VHS tape of it, and I fucking would watch it a million times
religiously.
It's so cheesy bad, but it's so good at the same time. To sum it up,
It's like for me, Running Man. I love Running. That also has Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
To sum up the Commando movie, to get the feel of it, when he defeats one of the villains, the villain gets impaled on a steam pipe, and he just looks at him and goes, "How about you blow off some steam?" Like that's the vibe of the movie.
That's fucking funny.
So
That is hilarious.
It's great. But yeah,
That's great. I mean, I love the Alien and Predator franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I watched the first one. I actually, because we weren't born in the 80s. We both grew up in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I surprisingly had no context for the Predator movie, and so one day I was watching it with, I think it was my uncle. He put it on, and at first I was like, this is like a boring military movie. I wasn't gonna care about it, and then out of nowhere, a fucking alien showed up, and I went, "What?" I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I fell in love with that concept. I watched the second one with Danny Glover in it. I think he's the main character in that one.
Where they're in like the future New York City.
I think it's L.A. It's like 1994 L.A.
I thought it was New York City.
It might have been. Either way,
I only think that because it's been forever since I've seen it, and I lent you that Predator Dark River comic, and it made references. I can't talk. It's too early.
Very professional here.
Yeah, very obviously. I'm a great speaker. I never mess up words or anything like that. Let me make speeches. I could be the president. But it made references to like the first movie mentioning like Dutch, and then it also mentions the second movie, and it says New York. So that's
then
why,
maybe
that's why I'm thinking New York.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
It's been forever since I've seen the second one.
The reason why I like the second one so much though is that ending scene where Danny Glover goes onto the Predator ship, and you see the xenomorph skull, and I'm like, what the fuck?
One of my favorite Predator movies actually is Predators with like Adrian Brody and stuff like that. Oh
yeah, the one where they're on the planet. Yeah. It's like a hunting ground.
It's not great, but I find that
it's fun.
Concept super interesting.
I do too.
And stuff like that. I definitely think it's one of those situations where when it came out, a lot of people hated it.
Yeah.
And now kind of maybe some nostalgia glasses on, people look back on it now and go like, yeah, that was pretty cool. Probably in hindsight with the newer Predator movies being absolute garbage.
I heard Prey was good.
I forgot about Prey for a second.
Yeah. But the Predator one from a couple years before that, that one was bad. With the Super Predator?
Yes, that was awful.
Yeah.
Prey was exceptionally good.
Yeah. And they're doing a sequel to that, I think. I think it's just called Prey 2.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's same cast. I think.
Oh, probably not.
I think it might be like different time period. I didn't realize they were doing a second one.
I don't know if that's fully confirmed. I had just heard that they were doing it.
But because I can't see. I mean, I guess they could keep same cast. It would just very much change kind of like the dynamic. Because I really like Predator when it's shown of like, kind of like in Batman versus Predator, to bring up the reason why we're talking about Predator.
Yeah.
Like they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
That mystery of it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wouldn't be a fan if they did Prey 2 and it's like the same cast of people. I'd like it being like a different time period.
I agree. I like that humans interact with the Predator a lot, but it's in such different time periods to the point where like it's like become myth or legend, or it just isn't known about because people are like, I'm taking this to my grave. I'm not. Yeah. I won't talk about this with another living person.
I have mixed feelings on the Alien versus Predator.
I hate them.
Like,
now the comic is great.
But I love the concept. I think it's great. I like the like lore between the two that has been set up, but the movies,
they're not great.
They're not great.
They're not. They don't make sense, especially in the first one where they're in the Arctic. When it's like, well, the predators
have been here for centuries.
Yeah, but they also have established that predators need humid, hot climates to survive. So that's what their physiology is based around.
That's dumb.
Yeah, so xenomorphs make sense because xenomorphs don't need a specific.
They adapt.
Yeah, they adapt. They just terramorph their surroundings to what they need.
I also like, as I mentioned Predators, and that has 3 Predators in it. I do like the solo Predator concept more because it's like that, you know, they're going out.
The lone.
Yeah, the lone hunter and everything like that, which, to full circle it back, is what happens in Batman versus Predator.
Yeah.
There's a lone predator that shows up.
Yeah.
So how about we go ahead and get started on going through this?
Yeah.
Because I could sit here and talk about Predator for a while.
Little before, this is about Batman vs. Predator. Before we get into it, like I had mentioned, it is written by Dave Gibbons, who is actually the artist of Watchmen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Alan Moore wrote Watchmen. Dave Gibbons drew all of Watchmen. I believe this was one of his first, you know, attempts at being a writer, and I think he succeeded.
I think he did pretty well overall. Yeah.
Yeah, the story in this is really fun. I will say it's not going to be the most like thought-provoking.
Yeah.
You know, this is purely, it feels like an action movie, which is awesome.
It's pure entertainment. Like it's the fantasy of every person that goes like, well, what if this character from this thing fought this character from this thing?
It's like a 10-year-old took his action figures out of his toy box and was like, I'm gonna fucking fight. But yes, it is written by Dave Gibbons, the artist of Watchmen. And it is drawn by Andy Kubert. Andy Kubert is from a long line of, you know, comic book employees, I guess, however you want to put it, people in the comic industry. His brother Adam Kubert actually did the colors for this, I believe, or he did the inks. Let me check. He did the inks and the letters for this comic, so they worked together. And then they have a father, I think his name is Joe Kubert. I could be wrong on that. He was also a comic book artist, I believe.
Interesting. So kind of a lineage thing there.
Now, I could be totally wrong on their father's name. I do believe it starts with a J, though. But they were inspired to become artists because of their father.
I mean, it's a pretty cool profession.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome. And I mean, yeah, this book clearly just like very simply came out because DC and Dark Horse was like, you know, it'd be fucking cool. Like, it would be awesome.
Hear me out.
Like the 90s, like the 80s and 90s, in my opinion, were like the perfect time to do crossovers because companies, you know, knew how to work with each other. Mainly because, like, at this point, Marvel was filing for bankruptcy and DC was number 3 in a 2-publisher system.
Well, I also think at that time, obviously my knowledge of that time period is very skewed as I was, you know,
a baby.
I
mean, we both were.
But, you know, growing up in the 2000s, like, you still have that kind of echo of like the 90s and stuff like that.
Yeah. I will say it's starting to get better now. We're starting to get a lot more crossovers now. Especially because we will be doing a story eventually, because Marvel and DC announced that they're releasing a Marvel versus DC omnibus.
Interesting.
Because back in the 80s and 90s, they did a crossover.
Well, that's interesting. But my thought was going to be, like, you know, growing up at that time, I feel from my perspective that I don't think IPs or brands were like necessarily as like super important.
Like recognizable?
Yeah, like, you know, like now I feel
Especially Marvel.
I feel it's maybe loosening up, but like Marvel, you know, they want you to know that it is a Marvel property.
Yeah,
like,
especially because of the MCU.
Yeah, like you cannot, they don't want any kind of confusion of who owns this brand or anything like that, or what IP it is. I think back then they were a bit more loosey-goosey with it, of like, it would be cool to see Predator and Batman hash it out. Now, if they tried to do something like that, it'd be like, well, whoever owns Predator now, I'm not sure who owns them now.
It's Disney.
Is it?
Yeah, because Disney bought Fox.
Yeah. So it'd be like Disney, and then, you know, DC, it'd be like, well, I want this in there so that they buy more Predator stuff, which lines our pockets. And DC, well, I want this in there, you know, and it wouldn't be collaborative. I feel like it'd be more like too competitive or you know, aggressive to really work.
I feel like you're more likely to see one of the big two collaborate with a smaller publisher than you would see Marvel and DC collaborate with each other.
Yeah, like, I'm sure. I mean, like, I I don't know the time frame of it, but like there's like the TMNT and Batman animated.
It's like the 2010s.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mid to late 2010s, I believe.
Yeah, they did a movie and
Yeah,
stuff.
they did like 3 comics.
Yeah.
Like they did a sequel, like 2 sequels to Batman and TMNT.
Yeah, I see. I totally agree. A smaller studio collaborating with one of the big two, 100%. I can see that.
Yeah.
Because it's like the big ones, like, well, I can boost your
I can do
sales
whatever.
and your rep, and then you give me all the creative freedoms.
Yeah.
To, fuck with your IP and ruin it.
Hey, the I haven't read the other ones, but the first Batman and TMNT book, like the comic, fucking great. It's really good. So yeah, back to Batman versus Predator. We got a lot of side tangents just because I believe these episodes are gonna be a little bit shorter.
Yeah, there's not a ton of meat. There's a lot of cool action.
Oh yeah. But this is just one of my favorite comics. Just because I think it's well written for like what it is.
The art's great.
The art is beautiful. Again, I've said Andy Kubert's my favorite artist. He actually worked on X-Men in the 90s after Jim Lee. When I think of 90s art, the 3 artists I think about are Andy Kubert, Jim Lee, and Rob Liefeld. Now, Rob Liefeld is a little controversial because his art's not great, but, he was still huge in the 90s.
Yeah.
He designed, created Deadpool, and he drew X-Force in the 90s, which was huge. But this book is very self-contained. You can definitely put this in and out of continuity as you would like, because it doesn't, besides like your main characters like Batman, Alfred, Jim Gordon, there are no other superheroes in this.
Yeah.
Like there's no Superman, there's no Joker, there's none of that. Now there are sequels to this where there's the second one, which I believe is Batman versus Predator Blood Match. That's what it's called. And then Batman versus Predator Blood Ties. Those are awful. Those are awful.
Really?
I believe the second one has the Huntress in it.
Are they continuations off the? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like actual direct
yeah.
sequels. Okay.
Yep. Batman also has had a crossover with Alien. There's a Batman versus Alien comic, which was amazing.
I feel like is just Predator and Alien got a crossover with everything.
Oh yeah, because they're so profitable. They're like you can do anything with them and like make it cool.
Why is it that like horror media in general like works great for crossovers?
I think it's because of the idea of you want to see how a character that you like is going to react to something that is kind of fucked up or like creepy. Because like there was a crossover. No, it wasn't a crossover. I think it was just a storyline that they did called Batman Damned, where it was like Batman dealing with supernatural stuff, and he like teamed up with Constantine.
Yeah.
And I remember people saying that it was entertaining because like Batman doesn't deal with horror that often. Granted, like he lives in a city that is a horror show in of itself. But I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, maybe we'll find that answer, eventually once we do Batman versus Alien, because we were totally doing that.
Yeah.
That story was great. That had some awful sequels to it as well. Eventually, they did JLA versus Predator. So all the Justice League had to fight Predators.
That's a cool concept.
Except you have Superman.
Yeah.
I think what it is that the Predators genetically splice DNA with the Justice Leaguers, and so you have a Superman Predator.
Okay, like it sounds bad, but at the same time, I'm like totally intrigued. Like, I think it'd be fun.
There's also a sequel to Batman versus Alien where the government splices xenomorph DNA with Batman villain DNA. And so there's a Joker xenomorph.
It's so...
and a Two-Face xenomorph.
See, all right. You're saying they're awful, but what I'm hearing is that they're so bad, they're good.
I'll let you be the judge of that when we get to it.
I genuinely just what you're telling me. I have the biggest grin on my face because I can see how awful it is, but at the same time, like it makes me want to read them.
We'll read them eventually, and we'll see if you still hold that same opinion. So we open up our story in the middle of a boxing match. The cool thing about this is that they kind of take liberty of making their own like gangs
Yeah.
or like mafia bosses. You don't get Falcone, you don't get Maroni, you don't get any of those
which I think
pre-established
lends to
characters.
that self-contained,
Yeah.
that you mentioned.
Right. There's no Robin in this as well. Let that be known. This, I would assume, this would have to take place within Batman's first couple years.
Yeah,
as
because his costume's also very kind of long Halloween.
kind of a little bit. It does. I believe it has the yellow chest symbol, which I love that.
The blue cowl cape,
Yeah.
gray suit, yellow Batman symbol.
So yeah, this opens up with a huge boxing match. This is the heavyweight champion match, all that kind of stuff, and then you have these rival gangs who have kind of gotten into
Yeah,
the fighting business. They're throwing matches, all that,
and
all
they're
all the good
also
stuff.
very corporatized as well.
Correct. Yes. It's very quick to the point. One of the boxers goes down. I believe King is the winner.
Marcus King.
Marcus King. Yep. He wins the fight. He's like the new up and coming, boxer, everything like that. And we quickly cut to a person at like a trailer park, or not trailer park, like a junkyard who's watching that same match. And the Predator has already shown up.
Yeah,
The man's dog notices the Predator and is barking, and the guy's like, "Shut up, Satan."
and like straight animal abuses it out the fucking
Yeah,
door.
very sad. Predator is very. People are just mean to animals in this in general.
Yeah. Also, to note, something they do throughout these 3 issues of this, they use radio and news casts like as ways to give context to the situation.
Yes,
Like very much,
especially in chapter 2 or issue 2. The dog, the guy kicks his dog out. Dog gets mortared, gets absolutely eviscerated by the Predator. The guy runs out, sees his dog, and then you instantly see the 3 dots.
Yeah,
from
iconic.
from the Predator, plasma caster, and dude gets exploded. Like, he just fucking dies. That's when we establish like the Predator is already here, and he's watching the aftermath of the fight. And Marcus King, he's like, "I'm the champion, I'm the best there is," and he's boasting about how strong he is. And that's when we kind of establish that obviously the Predator likes the challenge, he likes the hunt. And they do a really cool thing where someone will say something on the news, on the radio, on television, just like you said, and he will kind of take one piece of what they said and repeat it.
Yeah, the iconic like voice matching thing that Predator does.
Yeah. I think there's a really cool one where he's like, "Gotcha, mother," and then it's obviously saying "motherfucker."
Yeah.
So we catch back up with these mob bosses. One is Broden, I believe that's one of the bosses. The other one is Jaeger, and I think there's another one, but I could be wrong about that. I distinctly only remember Broden and Jaeger.
Yeah, I think it's only the 2.
It's the guy with the eye patch, and then the bigger, like, almost penguin-esque guy with the mustache. At that same boxing match, Bruce Wayne is there with Commissioner Gordon. I didn't know Bruce Wayne and Gordon just kind of hung out. But I guess they do.
I think I can't remember exactly. I'm maybe because they don't really explain why they're there. I mean, the assumption I'm taking from it is obviously Bruce Wayne's just making an appearance, a public appearance,
Right.
and then maybe Jim's there for like security reasons or something. I don't fucking know.
Right.
I'm spitballing to lend some credence.
Yeah. But they see Jim and Bruce Wayne there, and they're instantly like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" They're trying to talk to them, basically talking shop. And Gordon is like, "I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
Like, I've got work to do." I believe at that point they had called in the death, or no, they haven't called in the death yet.
No.
They're just, I have work to do. There's stuff going on.
They have this interaction where, and Jim's like straight up like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I know you're corrupt sons of bitches, so I'm not even gonna waste my breath with you.
And obviously Alfred picks up Bruce. Bruce is like, I'm gonna go be Batman, because he's trying to follow up leads on these two gangs or these two gangsters to try and put them away, but nothing's kind of going his way. And we cut to Marcus King, with his girlfriend after the match. They're hanging out
In bed,
doing what adults do.
doing the horizontal tango.
Yeah. And instantly the Predator jumps down through like the glass ceiling, because he's got one of those skylights. Jumps down through this ceiling, tells his girlfriend to get the fuck out of there. He grabs a lampshade and he's about to fight the Predator. And then the Predator shoots his razor wire net and just eviscerates the guy. Like, see, now I don't know if his head gets cut off or if he gets cut into chunks.
I think
I know he takes his hands.
Obviously, since it's a Batman property, they're not showing the gore of everything.
But this is still kind of gory.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's more they'll use like artistic ways, like when the Predator takes the head, you're like actually seeing it in the reflection of her eyes.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not actually seeing it, but you can definitely make out like a head and spine.
Right.
I don't, because they don't really show what happens to him. My assumption is it just kind of cuts him. Well, no, because if that was the case, because the net was over his head, and in the reflection of her eyes, his head is in one piece.
Yeah.
So I think while he's pinned, the Predator comes over and rips his head off.
Yeah.
That would be my assumption, knowing how Predator's gadgets work.
Right. Yeah. Alien technology.
Yeah. I mean, like in the media, they've used the razor net before.
Yeah.
So it's like, if that went all the way through, he'd be like in tiny chunks.
Yeah, like the Resident Evil movie.
Yeah, his head wouldn't be intact. So my assumption is he just got pinned. Right. Obviously, you can tell just from our spitballing of logic here, there's not a whole lot of like in-depth clarification for things. It's really relying on your understanding of the different IPs.
Right. Which, of course, Batman's not that easy to understand. It's the Predator thing.
You mean he is easy to understand?
Or he is easy to understand.
Yeah, Batman's
super easy to understand.
Everyone knows Batman.
Yeah.
Predator,
hit or miss. Granted, Predator's still super popular.
You would have to be under a rock, really, to not know at least who the Predator is.
Right. So after King is absolutely massacred in front of his girlfriend, we follow up with Bruce Wayne, and he is at a party held by Yeager, essentially still talking shop, trying to get Bruce in on some type of deal, trying to get him to back something, and Bruce just isn't having any of it. And that's when he sees the bat symbol. Alfred picks him up again. He's like, okay, now it's time to be
Alfred's
Batman.
like, that other appointment, sir. And then he just hops in the car and starts getting changed.
Yeah. And then we get this awesome scene where all the cops are just all over Marcus's apartment, and they see Batman. And it's a really cool picture of just him, like
in the suit,
posing. Andy Kubert just knows how to draw a badass fucking Batman. Let me tell you.
And I tell you what, I really want them to bring back the blue cowl and cape.
They did. I think they did in the most recent. Yeah, because in Batman Superman World's Finest, drawn by Dan Mora, I believe. I think he is wearing it's not bright blue, but it's like a toned down, like a brighter navy blue almost.
I like the idea of Batman's like cape and cowl being like not pitch black, but almost having like this oily sheen to it.
I can understand
like
that.
a bluish kind of.
Yeah.
Because it makes it feel more like the shadows.
Yeah, I can understand that. No, they did bring it back recently. Like he's essentially wearing this outfit from this comic in the current run.
Dope. That's cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's definitely a huge upgrade from Rebirth Batman.
And you're also super happy he's not wearing armor, right?
Yeah, I'm very happy. Yeah, well, for a while after New 52 ended, we had to deal with Scott Snyder's redesign of the suit because in his run, Batman wasn't Batman for a little bit. And then when he came back at the end, he had the gray. His cape was black. So it's just like classic Batman. The inside of the cape was purple. And instead of having like the yellow circle, the bat outline was yellow.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he had that for a hot minute. I think like 4 years, 4 or
I'd
5
have
years.
to see it to make a judgment on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you'll definitely see it.
It doesn't. It doesn't like maybe the purple on the inside seems pretty cool, but I guess it depends on execution, right?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
But the face you're making is not a good
It's-
endorsement at all
it's-
for it.
It's fine. It's not the worst Batman suit I've ever seen. It's fine.
Okay.
That's what I will put on it.
I'll
So Batman shows up, and the cops are like, should we be letting this dude in? Like, should we be letting this guy like in the crime scene? Like, we don't even know if he caused it.
yeah.
And Gordon's essentially like, hey, he's cool. Just let him
Do his thing.
let him do his thing. And at this time, Gordon does have a partner, a new partner, female partner,
her name is Kandowski.
Kandowski.
Kandowski. I can't remember if they use her first name, but
That's her last name.
that's her last name. Yeah.
Yeah, she is important and not important at the same time.
Yeah,
because she doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, she's just kind of like the individual that
She's young.
It allows Jim to like do exposition and
Yeah,
stuff.
because she's new.
Yeah, she's new. He can explain like what his theory is and stuff, which they do, and they believe it's I forget who backed Marcus King, who won the fight. I think it was Yeager that won.
Yeah.
That was backing him.
Yeah.
So I think they believe Broden, the other
Killed him.
guy,
Or
had a
hired.
hit. Yeah, hired a hitman to
Yeah,
kill him. Or
they
something
believe
like
it's
that.
essentially like a act of aggression because
Yeah.
they've been on a ceasefire because I think they explained that Yeager lost his eye, and then but Broden lost his son.
Oh yeah.
I believe that's what it was, and so they called a ceasefire, and they were like, "This is too much."
But it was like a super tense one.
Oh yeah, and then this fight, this boxing match, essentially led to like,
Yeah,
it's back on, and that's what Gordon and Batman both believe.
yeah, because immediately after this, I'm pretty sure, right?
Batman goes
Yeah.
to Broden's boxing gym.
Yep.
To interrogate his fighters. I will say before he goes though, while Batman and Gordon are talking, you do see the outline of the Predator who's cloaked and he's watching Batman. He's not attacking Batman, but you can tell he has an interest.
Throughout these comics, you'll get panels of the infrared vision from the Predator to like insinuate he's close by.
Yeah, he's watching
and
like right outside the window, or sometimes even in the same room,
Yeah,
which I think is pretty fucking cool.
yeah, it is.
So yeah, Batman.
especially for someone like stalking Batman of all people.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So Batman goes, he interrogates Broden's guys, and he just beats the shit out of them. Like, it's like classic Batman. Like, he just absolutely starts wailing on these dudes, asking questions, and they're all like, we don't know what happened, but thank God the guy's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to do it now.
Basically, someone saved us the bullet.
Yeah. Which in turn tells the Predator, like, oh, these guys are strong too. Like, they could have killed Marcus King. Obviously, he doesn't know who Marcus King is. He just saw a dude and he killed him.
Yeah.
But it gives him that, like, oh, they're also a challenge. So Batman leaves. He continues watching Batman. He starts chasing him as if he's going to, like, corner him and kill him. And then he loses him because obviously Batman's a creature of the night. And he fucking, he can disappear. And then Predator just kills a cat.
Yeah. Randomly.
Just a random fucking cat. So Bruce is talking to Alfred back at the manor. Alfred's like, hey, man, like, I know you want to keep your grandpa's old, like, taxidermy shit, but, like, come on.
Yeah.
This doesn't need to be a horror show at all times. Like, you can modernize our mansion. Like,
A little bit,
We
yeah.
fucking live here. And Bruce is like, yeah, you're right. Throw him out. Like, I don't even think he says donate them. He just says, yeah, fucking throw them out.
Yeah, which in general is just kind of weird that this is
The one thing Bruce is like,
yeah, like the conversation in general. It's kind of like why are we talking?
why are we talking about this right now, Alfred? I'm in the middle of a fucking job.
Yeah, like.
But I think at that point, Bruce is watching the television, and then he sees the news that Broden's gym was attacked and everyone was killed in it. And so he instantly goes to the cave. He turns the clock. He goes down. He gets dressed. And, Alfred's like, hey, sir, like, maybe there's like other forces at work here that maybe you should just kind of back off of. And Batman's like, fuck off, Alfred. And he fucking gets in the car and leaves.
Like, I'm fucking Batman. Like,
I'm fucking Batman. I'm
it's
out.
not a phase, Dad.
Yeah. So he gets there, and it just like Marcus King's apartment. It is absolutely trash.
Yeah. Again, like the whole like they're not super explicit with the gore. The most they usually have is like just blood spattered everywhere.
And like there will be bodies, like bloody like sheets covering bodies, that kind of stuff. And still, like, even with like all the censorship, it's still very striking.
Yeah, like they do it well enough to where it's like the illusion of
what happened
is good enough to really showcase of like, okay, this predator is like super fucking fucked up.
because at this point they also say like, hey, these guys are also missing their hands, because we established that this predator, because every predator takes their own version of a trophy. Like every predator takes the head and spine of their victim,
but this one's also taking hands.
This one takes hands because that's what it views as the trophy.
Yeah.
And I think it's at this point they establish like, okay, maybe this wasn't a hit, maybe this is a serial killer
or like some kind of fucked up vigilante.
Yeah. They established that only one person survived, and it's a retired boxer who's blind. He's like an old man. And the guy essentially tells Batman, because Batman asks him, like, hey, you survived. What's going on? Like, he's not being an asshole. He's just kind of talking to him. And the guy says, like, I suspect it's because I can't see. He viewed me as lesser. He viewed me as below him. And he's just telling Batman, like, if I saw something, I would tell you. I would. Mm-hmm. And then he does the stupid move of saying, back in my day, I'd go toe to toe with anybody. And then the Predator, who's still there, goes, oh yeah? Fucking shoots him. Fucking just absolutely blasts his ass. And Batman's instantly like DEFCON Delta, get down, everybody.
I thought what that was so strange, because like, obviously I don't read a whole lot of, like, I don't know if there's a whole lot of Predator comics.
There are.
Like, I'm sure there is, but like, I don't know if they do this in other comics and stuff, but like, I've never figured a Predator to be like, oh, you used to be a fighter. I'm going to kill you even though now you're old, weak and frail.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
So the only way I could like rationalize it was, rather than him being like, oh, you used to be a fighter, let me kill you, is like being like a hunter. He's covering his tracks because he's being stalked or whatever.
Maybe
I'm doing some fucking mental gymnastics
you are.
to make some fucking sense.
Maybe if he had not done that in front of the goddamn Batman.
Yeah, that's true.
To me, I feel like it's just a way for Batman to finally interact with the Predator.
Well, yeah, probably. And to be fair, like every Predator is technically unique.
Yeah, they all have their own traditions. They all follow the same code.
But they all do different things differently.
Yeah, so. they have their own way of fighting.
Yeah.
So Batman, he's instantly like, get down. He's protecting Gordon, all the other police officers. He's trying to save the old man, but can't.
He's got a fucking laser plasma beam in his chest.
You get, and then you get the cool line the cool scene where Batman stands up. He sees the outline of the Predator. He stands up, not flinching. And then you see the 3 dots on the Batman symbol, which is like that. I think that was the promotional poster for when they first announced this in the 90s. Like when you opened up a comic for DC or Dark Horse, you saw the Batman logo with the 3 dots, and you were like, "What? What the fuck am I looking at?"
They're about to do some mad lad shit over here.
Real. Super cool scene. I do love that. And the Predator sees Batman. He's stoic. He's not moving. You can tell he's not afraid of the Predator. And the Predator's like, oh,
This one might be a little more.
Yeah, and so he's like, I'm gonna save you for later. Like almost like he's going down.
Save
a
the
list.
best for the last.
Yeah, like he's going down a list of like the most challenging people. Gordon essentially says like, "You're a fucking lunatic."
Yeah.
And Batman's like, "I know."
And then Batman goes home, and Alfred's like, "You're a fucking lunatic."
Like the two most important people in Batman's life at this point are both like, "You need to chill,
dude." Like,
it was pretty funny, and I think this is the point where they're like, "Okay, it's a serial killer."
yeah,
Because like I'm going to assume Batman is established as a hero in this because Gordon's commissioner. He's not captain,
Yeah.
he's commissioner. Because it's a very big distinction to make because at the end of year 1, he's a lieutenant, he gets promoted to captain.
yeah.
Once Robin comes into the picture, that's when he's commissioner. So this has to be right before Robin.
I mean, yeah, or it could just be they didn't want to muddle up the waters, so
Maybe.
they just were like, "Fucking Robin's doing his own thing. He's, being traumatized about the circus somewhere."
Right. So we go to Batman at Wayne Manor. Alfred's essentially talking to Bruce like, "Hey, do you think this, you might be in a little over your head? This seems to be kind of one of the most dangerous things you've faced." Because surprisingly, they don't make a reference to any form of villains. Like, we don't get a reference to like Bane or Ra's or because I think this came out before Nightfall, but we don't get any references to like some of the most major Batman villains ever created.
The only reference I'd say is like in some of the panels where he's in the Batcave, you can see
like the penny
and the dinosaur and shit like that.
Yeah. No, you still get those references visually, but you don't hear Alfred go the Joker or any of those kinds of characters.
Hey, did you bang Catwoman last night?
Yeah. You don't get any of that. And then essentially Bruce is like, "I've got it handled. I'm still following leads," because he's still wanting to bring Yeager and Broden to justice, and he is listening in on Yeager talking. They're talking about some illegal deals that they're going to do, and so he gets suited up. He goes to meet Yeager, and then the Predator just fucking shows up and starts laying waste to Yeager's men. Uses the disc from Predator 2. Now, fun fact, this did come out a year after Predator 2 came out. And Predator 2 is what introduced all the little gadgets that Predator uses, besides like the plasma cannon. So you see the disc, you see the wire. I think he has the spear as well.
Yeah, the combi stick or whatever.
Yeah. And then that is when we get the really cool scene where, because Batman crashes through the window as the Predator's laying waste, the Predator drops the camo and you see Batman and the Predator fucking looking at each other, and it's pretty fucking
It's
sick.
pretty baller.
All of Gordon's men show up because I guess at this, like, Batman had called it in.
Yeah.
And they start unloading their fucking bullets into this thing, and Gordon's like,
"Hold your fire.
Don't fucking shoot Batman, for the love of God." And then, Batman being Batman, he's surveying the area and he sees this fluorescent green. He picks it up and he immediately deduces, like, this has to be its blood.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You guys shot him." We cut to the junkyard. We see that the Predator is injured, and Batman instantly tracks him down, follows him. I don't know how.
I think the blood trail.
Yeah, I think it's just the blood trail. And this is the end of the first issue where we get a big knockout, drag down fight.
Yeah, and
where
Batman kind of gets fucked up.
Yeah, Batman gets fucked up. Now we get some really cool scenes where Batman tries to use the environment to his favor. Like he uses this magnet crane to drop a bunch of scrap onto the Predator and all that stuff.
But the Predator just straight brute forces.
Oh yeah,
through it all.
Like he throws the disc at Batman, cuts him in the leg. His leg is fucked up. Batman drops that scrap and he thinks he's won. And then he's over there. I don't know what Batman's going to do with this Predator because at the end of the day, Batman doesn't fucking kill.
Yeah.
But I'm going to assume he's like, "I'm going to take you to Arkham."
I think his goal is to capture it and then like
let Gordon
let
take care.
Gordon figure out what the
Yeah.
fuck's gonna go. Well,
Yeah.
at least be a part of that process of like figuring out what the
Yeah.
But you got to capture it first. It's killing people. He
Yeah.
wants to stop it from killing it.
And then the Predator uses his plasma caster to shoot Batman in the fucking face.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, it
grazes
grazes him, or else Batman would be done. It wouldn't be Batman versus Predator; it would be versus Predator at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we end issue 1 with Predator grabbing Batman by the cloak, and he has the Wolverine claws out, and he's about to kill Batman. And I remember reading this when I bought it and being like, "Whoa, fuck!
Yeah.
This is gonna be crazy," because I bought this all at once.
Yeah. And it's like, obviously, Batman's not going to die.
No, obviously not.
But, and it's a cool panel, too,
It is
of
awesome.
like him holding Batman like that and everything.
But we immediately, chapter 2 opens up with the Predator about to, cut Batman's head off. And then Batman uses a remote control to summon the Batmobile. Absolutely fucking runs over the Predator. Apparently, now I didn't notice it. I'm even looking at the pages now. I'm not seeing it. Apparently, the Batmobile hitting the Predator really fucked up the Batmobile, because on the news it even says like police were seen arriving at the junkyard and we saw an injured Batman with a severely injured damaged Batmobile fleeing the scene.
Yeah.
And like,
well, I mean, the freaking Predator's built like
a shit brick house.
Yeah. He's all fucking muscle, dude, and he's like 7 foot tall.
Yeah. So Batman leaves, and we get this really awesome, it's like, I think it's like 5 or 6 pages, a really awesome depiction of the news talking about what's happening, trying to interview Gordon trying to avoid the interviews, the mobsters talking about what's happening, talking with Gordon, figuring out what's going on. And while we're seeing all these scenes, it'll cut to the Batcave, and we'll see the Batmobile, which is fucked up here in this panel. We'll see the Batcave covered in blood, pieces of his suit on the ground, and eventually we'll cut to Batman in just a full body cast. Like he's done.
He's like the glass bones guy from SpongeBob.
Oh yeah, he is. Every time I move, I feel my bones break. It's really fucked up.
I mean, and he's even got it like around his eyes.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
Like it's so fucked.
It's done. Yeah. We cut to, I believe, the mayor of Gotham, because the mayor is also corrupt.
Yeah.
And the Predator's already there and fucking kills him. The Gordon shows up with his assistant, or with his partner, and this like replica of Gotham is just drenched in blood.
And they say it looks like it was purposefully put there.
Like almost like he's making his mark on the city. Like this is his city now.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty awesome. Of course, the gangsters are starting to, they're trying to find God.
Yeah.
At this point, they're like, oh, we're fucked. We're done. And that's when we cut straight back to Wayne Manor. Alfred is cleaning up. That's when we see Bruce in the full. I'm looking at it now. He is head to toe covered.
Yeah. And he's still trying to work too.
The only thing that's not covered in bandages is his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
That's it. So he can eat. That is it. And I'm like, oh my God.
But yeah, Alfred walks in and he's over there fucking tinkering on shit and everything like that.
Yeah. Well, that's later on. I think in towards the second half of issue 2. In this one, he's like fully.
Oh yeah, he's laying
hooked
there,
up.
Yeah.
He does ask Alfred is it a quiet night tonight? And you see the bat signal in the sky, and Alfred's like, yep. And he fucking closes the curtains.
Yep.
Which I find hilarious.
He does that a couple times.
Oh yeah, he does that. He does that a few times. And I at this point, this is essentially just the Predator is just killing everyone. Like he goes to Broden. I believe Broden is hiding out with his mom. He fucking causes Broden's mom to have a heart attack and she dies.
Yeah.
And fucking Broden gets murdered as he's trying to save his mom because he sticks the Wolverine claws from his in his back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's just going through Gotham, like fucking killing everything that seems like it could be,
yeah,
somewhat strong or.
yeah. Well, actually, so the mayor is still alive. I think who died was Jaeger. I think that was
Yes, it was Jaeger. Yeah,
it was one of the mafia bosses.
yeah, it was Jaeger
Yeah.
that died.
So this is what happens when you read a book a few days before you record. You forget a couple things.
And also when you can't, there's not a whole lot to make notes about either.
So, but the mayor does end up dying because I believe he has the mayor has a conversation with Gordon, is essentially like, figure this out or it's your job.
Yeah.
The door shuts, you hear a thud. Gordon runs back in, and the mayor is like strung up by his feet, just
Dead.
decapitated, hands missing, everything. It's fucking wild.
And then the Predator's right there as well.
Yeah.
And fucking his partner, or they try fighting the Predator, and the Predator like fucking hurts Gordon.
Yeah.
And he hurts Gordon, and Gordon's like trying to tell Kandowski, like, fucking get out of here. And she's like, no, you're.
Yeah, the city needs you more
the
than
city
it needs
needs.
me.
Yeah, and she sacrificed. And
Pretty cool.
It's cool, but like literally, I feel like besides slight exposition, her whole character
Was just there.
was just there.
Yeah.
And just to add to the kill count of Predator in this.
And it's essentially at that point that we get a countdown. It's, Gotham is at its most dire moment. All these people are getting killed off. Now, granted, most of them are like fucked up mob bosses, that kind of people. But still, like, a cop just got killed.
Yeah, it's like, well, because the Predator it's not like he has a code of like where he's only taking out criminals.
Yeah.
It's
just
anyone that
people
seems strong.
Yeah, strong people.
So like technically not everyone is safe. So
Right.
the fear is warranted for even just your regular schmucks.
Right. Gotham starts a countdown of like, because at this point they think Batman has either abandoned them, like fled Gotham and moved to a different city, or is dead.
Yeah.
Those are like the only two options. And they start a countdown, like if Batman doesn't show up by midnight tonight, the bat signal will be shut off forever, and like the city is lost its hero.
KI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gordon essentially makes like his last plea of like, we need you. Like the city needs you. I need you. Like we need our hero, our savior.
Oh, and does he show
Yeah.
up?
And it gets to midnight. Batman doesn't show. The fucking Predator does the fucking.
Yeah,
he's like
he's on a gargoyle or something.
He's screaming. He's chanting. The bat signal gets turned off, and then you see a hand fucking turn the signal back on, and you get this full page fucking reveal of Batman's new fucking suit.
It looks sick.
It looks fucking dope as hell.
It looks so cool.
There is an action figure of this, by the way. That's like a lot of money.
That is. That's one of the coolest suits I've seen Batman.
Like an alternate bat suit. I
Yes.
agree. This is awesome. And this works.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a lot of times where superheroes get a new outfit to fight a specific villain or, specific thing. And sometimes it's like, oh man, that looks really shitty.
Yeah.
Like really like you can tell it was only to sell an action figure.
Yeah.
This it
works.
Good. Yeah.
It will sell action figures. It makes sense and it looks fucking cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome. And Batman has that cool action hero line that it's on all the 80s movies, like, I'm the one it wants, let it come and get me.
Yeah.
And that's the end of issue 2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking dope as hell.
And that panel just looks dope.
Yeah.
As well. Like
if that
the
was just a
lightning.
poster.
Oh, yeah.
The rain, all that coming down.
Yeah.
The bat signal in the
His
background.
like cape fucking slightly
Yeah.
flapping in the wind. It just looks fucking cool.
It's awesome. I love it. And we just immediately jump right into issue 3.
That's one thing that I like. I like it, and also don't understand why they. I mean, I understand why they probably split it up. It's like to garner like intrigue of like, oh, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah.
This could have easily just been one issue because
like an oversized issue.
and because each issue starts like immediately where the last one ended.
Yeah. Issue 3 opens up. the bat signal is turned on. The Predator's instantly like, oh fuck, I gotta fight this asshole now. And the Predator just shows up. He destroys the bat signal, and Batman instantly just goes to work. He turns on his infrared. He sees the Predator grab his spear, tries to throw it at him. Batman turns it back around on him and stabs him.
My favorite part in that moment is the Predator uses like the voice thing, and it's like, I see you.
Yeah.
And Batman returns the spear and is like, I see you too.
Yeah.
Like, just so fucking cool.
Predator pulls the spear out of his shoulder, and then we get that fucking sick ass
That
spread.
is my favorite like panel spread, like through this whole thing. Like, the art's been great.
Oh, Andy Kubert just knocks it out of the park. What's crazy too is he's like, this is because this is one of the first things he drew. He's like, this is my early work. I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
of it.
I would buy a poster of that panel in a fucking heartbeat.
I would.
It is so cool. Just they're facing off. Like it's just so fucking
Yeah,
cool.
they got the crouch going. Fucking
Yeah.
dude, it's sick. Like this book is just a testament as to why Andy Kubert was so big in the 90s.
Yeah,
Like
it's so good.
it's a reason why he got onto X-Men. Like once we cover his like 90s X-Men, like you'll see just how good it is. Like, and you know, you'll have a lot of people say like, well, Jim Lee's the best X-Men artist. Like, I don't think so. Like, I like Jim Lee, but like I think there are other artists that are much better suited for X-Men. And Andy Kubert's one of them.
Basically, Ethan saying hot take, Jim Lee sucks.
No. I love Jim Lee. I think Jim Lee has some of the best work out there, but like he's great on Batman.
I'm just trying to get you in trouble at this point. Yeah, Ethan straight up told me before recording this podcast, Jim Lee's like the worst artist he's ever seen. You know, he's like, well, why is this guy employed?
No,
and he told me not to tell anyone.
No. Now, if it was John Romita Jr., yes. No, not Jim Lee. That's a fucking hot take, man. That's I don't know if that's a hot take though. I'm not a huge.
I wouldn't know. I don't
you will.
necessarily travel those circles.
You
so.
will. You will. Trust me. So Batman and Predator just get into this huge fight. Predator throws his disc because Batman uses his grappling gun, tries to swing around, cuts it. Batman catches himself. He summons the Batmobile again. He's like, man,
Worked the first time.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you too, bitch. And he fucking runs him over again.
He grabs his Pokeball and it's like, I choose you, Batmobile. And fucking just smacks.
Yeah, and at this point, Bruce tells Gordon, like, stay here.
Yeah.
I've got this. And Gordon's like, no, like, you're going to die. You're my friend. I'm not going to just let you fight this monster by yourself. And he's like, I got it. Because he's going to take him somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that somewhere else is the Batcave.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck this. Like, who cares if he knows that I'm Bruce Wayne? He doesn't know who fucking Bruce Wayne
He's
is.
a fucking alien.
Yeah. He takes him to the to Wayne Manor. They're outside Wayne Manor fighting each other. Batman uses the thing from year one, the bat sonar thing.
Yes, to like confuse it.
Yeah, awesome callback. I
Yep.
love that. Which is also why I'm like, man, this has to be close to year one status because like he's pulling out the stops. It's a very basic Batman.
But then also like again with like the references visually of like the things he's done in the Batcave, it's like that seems like later Batman.
It does,
stuff,
yeah.
You know, so I feel like they keep this Batman a little time frame.
Yeah, like it could take place in any time frame. I will say there is one thing about it though that you can always date what era of Batman is by two things. What is Commissioner Gordon's status in GCPD, and is there a Robin suitcase? Because when Jason Todd dies, he creates a memorial because Batman's like, no more Robins, no more sidekicks, and he creates that memorial of the Robin costume. We don't see that in this.
Right.
So we know for a fact this is pre, Death in the Family.
Okay.
Because I think DC has said this does take place in continuity. This book itself.
Interesting. That's cool. I mean, that's the thing about comic books, I feel like, is like you can have crazy shit like this in continuity and like really not blink a fucking eye. You know what I mean? Like you got Batman who's fighting like Bane, who gets like jacked up on some steroids and like gets huge, and like you got Poison Ivy who controls plants and like
right.
what's an alien?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
You know?
Yeah, who gives a... Fucking Batman works with at least 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's best friends with, like, Superman, who's an alien.
Yeah,
so.
who gives a shit? So yeah, they're continuing their fight that goes into the Batcave. They're pulling out all the stops. Batman ends up using a net to catch the Predator. Predator breaks out. Batman tries to, leap out of there. Predator catches onto him, rips the cape off. So Batman no longer has a glider.
Yep.
He's just
I like the fact that at the beginning of the fight, they're both using technology, and like slowly they're each losing out on gadgets until like the end where they're both just like fist to fist.
Oh yeah,
like,
and you can definitely see, a lot of tactics being used, and like you said, it just turns into primal, just bullshittery. Batman ends up triggering a trap in the cave that causes a cage to basically spring up, captures the Predator. Batman's essentially like, you won't break out of this. This is made out of the strongest fucking metal on Earth, blah, blah, blah. It's fucking not vibranium or whatever. And then Predator's like, oh, okay. And he just sets his wrist bomb on. And Batman's like, what the hell are you doing?
And then he hears beep. He's like, oh, shit.
He's like, I don't know what that is, but he notices that it's counting down. And so he instantly uses because the cage is like electrified, so he ends up cutting the electricity cable
and like
to it,
jacking it into the freaking wrist,
like basically causing a small explosion.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, I was like, wrist bomb edging. Like,
yeah, for real. So they are both all fucked up from that.
And then my favorite part is coming up.
Oh yeah. I will say throughout this fight, Batman has been shooting tranquilizers into the Predator to kind of slow him down. It doesn't seem to be working.
This whole fight, I'm just like, this is essentially just definition of Batman with prep time.
Oh yeah, this is definitely like a prep time Batman that we're seeing, which is funny because prep time Batman didn't come into being until like the early 2000s.
Yeah, because it only screams that because they're first obviously also for like drama and tension, Batman gets his ass kicked.
Oh yeah,
because he's unprepared.
But now he is.
But now he is.
He knows what he's fighting now,
Yeah,
so he's about to whoop this dude's ass.
That's what I'm saying. Like definition of prep time Batman.
And he's fighting the Predator. The Predator goes into the like central area of the Batcave, which has the penny and the dinosaur and everything. And Batman takes the mask off of the Predator because I think he like falls down, passes out, that kind of deal. Predator wakes up and just starts beating the shit out of Batman, basically catching him off guard. He's about to stab Batman with his claws, and then that's when Alfred comes up with the fucking elephant gun. Dude, and he goes, that's quite enough, thank you.
It's a straight up blunderbuss, dude. Yeah. It's not even like any kind of modern weapon. No. It's a straight up blunderbuss. Yeah. And then in the next panel after he shoots, he literally has it between his knees and he's like putting the gunpowder in. Like, it's just...
He's like, hold on, Mr. Wayne, I'll save you.
20 years later.
Yeah. But he fucking shoots the Predator, and Batman's like, I told you to get out of here. And the Predator gets up because apparently taking a shot to the chest wasn't enough. starts grabbing Alfred, and he Alfred's like, it's okay, Master Wayne, I'm not afraid of the big bully. And at that point you're like,
being a class act as per usual.
Yeah. And then that's when the tranquilizer starts kicking in, and we get this really cool transition where we see what the Predator sees, and everything's red.
Yeah,
because I think that is what the Predator's vision is normally. It is red, and then the infrared
comes from the
visor.
Mask.
Yeah. So he goes in. He ends up going into the game room where all those taxidermy heads are.
Yep.
He's freaking the fuck out. Bruce takes off his helmet because basically everything's like fucked up on his suit. He's at bare fisticuffs at this point. Alfred's like, let me come with you. And Bruce is like, nah, I got this. He goes through the game room. He has the Louisville Slugger in one hand.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's me, Batman. And then he fucking hits him upside the head with a baseball bat. It is so fucking cool. It is awesome. And Batman's just wailing on this fucking alien. And then you see Bruce look up into the sky, and then the Predator starts laughing. and that's when you see the Predator mothership from Predator 2.
Yep.
The other Predators come out, and at this point, Bruce is like, "Bring it!"
Yeah,
like he's
like, this might be it, but I'm going down fucking fighting.
Yeah, I will fuck all of you up.
Grabs his bat, he's fucking ready.
Yeah, the leader Predator hands the main Predator we've been following, hands him a sword, and the Predator, he says, follow or understand rules, which is, we haven't been mentioning it, but throughout the entirety of the 3 issues, he's been picking up little phrases. And so he repeats the phrase "understand rules," and so he seppukus himself, kills himself. And the leader Predator takes the sword, cleans it, and bows to Batman and gives it to him. They leave. They gather the Predator's body. They leave, and Alfred, he's like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
And Bruce was like, "They didn't say anything, but I think I understand."
They're not coming
back. They know who really rules Gotham.
Yeah. They're basically like, they know what's in Gotham. So they're not coming back because they don't want to get their ass kicked. Right.
They don't want prep time Batman. Because now that I know these guys exist,
I'm fucking ready.
I'm always going to have something for them. And we end it, Alfred has, he's helping Bruce out, taking him back to the manor because Bruce is all kinds of fucked up at this point.
Because he still wasn't healed from the first time.
No. And Alfred makes a point in that in the second issue, like, you still have a concussion.
Yeah, you're still fucked up.
And Bruce is like, I don't care.
You got mollywopped to hell. Like.
Yeah. Surprisingly, Alfred's not like, how about you call Superman?
Yeah. Well, then that'd become a Superman versus, and then
Superman versus Predator, which is a thing. So
of course it is.
Yeah. There's Superman versus Predator and Superman versus Alien, and Superman's like, I can't kill them; they're living things. And it's
okay, shut the fuck up, Superman.
It's my one time of being like, this is the one time to kill Superman. The xenomorph is the one time you should kill.
Predator, okay, maybe I understand.
Because they have like a culture.
Yeah. Fucking xenomorphs, dude. Like, they'll fucking ruin your whole planet in an instant.
Yeah. Please, this is the one time you are allowed to throw this thing into the sun. Like, if you're not going to do it to like Lex Luthor or the Joker, at least do it to the xenomorph.
Yeah.
Alfred, he gathers Bruce up, and Bruce is...
All I can think is like, that's like freaking like a space marine looking at a Terminid and being like, you're a living thing. I'm not going to end you. Like,
wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Bruce is like, fine night, isn't it, Alfred? And Alfred's like, sure is, Master Wayne, a real hunter's moon. And then we end it with a moon with the silhouette of an actual bat.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all for Batman versus Predator.
Super short read.
Super short.
I think it took me like
maybe an hour.
Not even.
Maybe. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's like
it was like 30 minutes, I think.
We definitely like glazed over some stuff because there's not a need to like.
Yeah, it's not a super in-depth. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
This is not like a thought piece.
No. It's not an author trying to make a statement about the state of comic books.
It's like you said earlier. It's a 10-year-old taking 2 action figures and just and putting them against each other, and because probably a comic wouldn't sell of just action panels. They're like, we need to cobble a story together.
And it's a fine story. It's very basic.
It's serviceable.
Yeah.
It gets it done. But really the point of reading this is to watch Batman and the Predator duke it out.
And some really badass fights.
Yeah.
Like really good. Like like their first fight in the first issue is awesome. And their last fight
is so good. The first fight's all right. I like it.
Yeah.
But it felt short.
Yeah. It's obvious that it was just building up to.
Yeah. The last fight basically taking up the whole
It's
issue.
worth the price of admission.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That right there is like, even if you don't like the build up, that last issue, that whole fight is so fucking good. Yeah. I mean, between the art and just like some of the one-liners and just seeing the Predator and Batman duke it out, and Alfred with a fucking blunderbuss, I'm still not over that. Like, I literally started like laughing out loud when I saw that. Because that's not the only time he's pulled up with a gun.
No. He pulled up to Joker with that same gun too.
I mean, and then what was Injustice?
Oh yeah.
With Superman?
Yeah. He breaks Superman's nose in that comic.
I don't think he didn't have a gun in Injustice. He just was like roided out on that.
He had the medicine, I think. Yeah.
And he fucking threw down with Superman.
Yeah,
And beat the shit
because
out
Superman
of
was
him.
fucking up Bruce.
Yeah.
And Alfred was like, enough of this.
He's like, hold on, my dear boy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck you up now.
Yeah. Which is really sad because Alfred loves Superman.
Oh yeah.
But that story is great. Batman versus Predator. Very short read, very fun. It's not expensive. Now the trade is expensive because it's no longer in print. But you can get the single issues on eBay for I think maybe $20 for all three.
I mean,
Maybe. I think 15 actually.
I don't think this is necessarily like a you have to go read it, but at the same time, like, why not?
Why not? Just fucking read it.
It's just fun.
I don't think it's on any app though, because it's a crossover comic.
Yeah.
Like no one technically owns the rights to it for their apps.
Well, especially now, probably because of transfer of like IP to a different company.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Despite, because like you said, now Disney owns Predator.
Yeah.
This was Dark Horse when they had
In the
it.
90s, yeah.
Yeah, so there's probably like some lawyer fuckery or something,
Yeah.
that keeps them from putting it on any apps
Yeah.
or anything. But it's fun.
It's fun. I definitely recommend it. If you want to buy the issues, you definitely can. Like you can find them on eBay for sure. You can definitely go to your local comic book store. They might have it. I found this on a whim at one of my it wasn't even my main comic book store I go to. It was another one nearby where I was just me and Nicole had went in one day and I saw it.
So happened to,
Yeah, they had all 3 issues in like a bundle pack and I was like $15. I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm buying it.
yeah.
And I think it's an amazing read. It's super fun. We'll definitely cover the other ones. The other ones kind of ruin this one just a little bit.
I'm like, we can cover them, but I'm totally fine not reading them. We don't need to make an episode about it. I'll read them on the off time, and I might give you an update on an episode or something like that.
Yeah.
Like if we cover like Batman versus Aliens,
We'll definitely cover that one because
I'll be
Batman versus Alien is awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I bet. I mean, it's just fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's not like anything else we've done.
Yeah.
Of like, where we're really dissecting it. I mean, like you can't really take notes on this.
No,
Other
not
than
really.
like, man, this is cool. Like,
yeah, it's cool when I saw this action figure punch this one.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just a fun read. I mean,
Yeah, I agree with that.
the art's good. The story's good enough for what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it's very, again, like you said, it's very different, especially because it's a crossover. And out of the episodes we've recorded so far, like this is the first one. And so I think this was a really good like first crossover to do.
I super enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say on it.
I don't either. I mean,
Again, this is probably going to be a super short episode.
oh yeah, I'm looking at the recording right now. It is definitely going to be very short, but there's nothing wrong with that.
What's the time at?
We are under an hour and 15 minutes. But hey, again, there's nothing wrong with that. I think having short episodes is great too.
Yeah, I just pick it up, read it. It's a great little standalone thing to read. I mean, and also there's always the street cred of like, I own some Batman versus Predator comics.
Yeah. It's cool.
Whatever street cred that gives you, I don't know.
A cool thing about these prestige formats, because prestige format is when it's like this style, like it's the rigid.
There's some great art in the back.
Yeah, in the back of it, you get a bunch of artwork. I'm assuming they're the alternate, like the variant covers, but you also get in the first and second issue, you get trading card art.
Yeah.
Where it's a bunch of little trading cards and it has like an artist depiction of their Batman versus Predator. And on the back of it, it'll tell you who the artist is. And it'll tell you like what they're known for or what they wanted to like do with their interpretation. And it's pretty cool. There's one with Greg Capullo in here, which I think looks fucking awesome. Joe Kubert is Adam and Andy Kubert's father. He did a cover, or he did a trading card, which I think is awesome that he did a card for a comic that his sons worked on, which is awesome. But Greg Capullo does a card. Greg Capullo obviously did Batman with Scott Snyder and the New 52, and he also worked on Spawn, and I believe he's actually about to start working on Wolverine as well, which I'm very excited about. There's, some good artwork in there. In the second issue, there's a mini poster, which my copy did not come with a mini poster, but I am buying one. I'm gonna frame it and hang it up in the podcast room, so that way we can look at it. Obviously, you guys won't see it, but we will. It'll look cool. But yeah, that's essentially it. I think that is it for this episode.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and do the outro.
I mean, by all means. Have you been listening? Thank you very much.
Yep.
We appreciate your support.
Oh yeah, we definitely appreciate all the support, especially if you've been listening to this random ass episode that we decided to do.
I mean, also, if you've just been listening to everything else
that
we've put out.
Yeah.
Again, to reiterate, because I don't know, I feel like I have to reiterate, we're just doing this shit for fun.
Yeah.
So I hope you're having fun with us if you're listening, even if you might think our takes are bad or anything like that. We appreciate your time.
I'm definitely going to get some flack about the Jim Lee thing, but...
You know what? I hope you do.
Well, I love Jim Lee, so we'll cover a Jim Lee book at some point.
That's not
but either way...
He told me he hated him. Don't let him lie to you. No, I'm kidding.
This has been the Comics with Friends podcast, the bi-weekly podcast where two best buds get together, read a comic, talk about what they love, maybe what they didn't like about it, and tell some jokes along the way. This has been your host, Ethan, with my best bud and co-host, Mason, and we are heading out. Bye-bye.
And remember, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Bye.
Bye.